SiriusXM brings you more new comedy.
Comedy Central Radio.
Laugh USA.
Raw Dog Comedy.
More exclusive comedy.
Netflix is a joke.
More than you bargained for, right?
10 hearts, laugh out loud. I'm telling you, people, it's even funny on the radio.
More classic comedy.
Comedy greats.
More down-home comedy.
Jeff and Larry's Comedy Roundup.
And more stuff you can't hear anywhere else.
She's so funny on SiriusXM. Comedy by women.
To hear the SiriusXM comedy channels, activate your radio now. Call 844-711-8800 or go to SiriusXM.com/go to sign up quickly. Amazing moments happen so much at SiriusXM, we want you to see them. SiriusXM Video lets you watch some of your favorite SiriusXM shows on the SXM app. Groundbreaking interviews, amazing in-show moments, behind-the-scenes footage, live performances, all come to life in a way you only imagined before. Plus, you can create your own personalized Pandora station based on the artists you love. And hear over 100 extra channels filled with ad-free music for every mood or occasion. Get your first 6 months of our Platinum plan for only $8.33 per month, plus fees and taxes. Just call 844-711-8800 to take advantage of this amazing offer.
Yo, it's Brandon Marshall.
And I'm Ashley Nicole Moss. We're bringing you the next generation of I Am Athlete to Fashion Talk with Paper Route.
We unravel sports, culture, music, and everything in between. Plus, appearances from the I Am Athlete family like Deshaun Jackson, Steven Jackson, and special guests like Paul Pierce and Shaq, and anybody in hip-hop and sports.
I Am Athlete presents Paper Route.
Unscripted and unfiltered.
Weeknights at 7 Eastern on Faction Talk, Channel 103.
And everywhere on the SiriusXM app. There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, that's nice. There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, that's nice.
The pop. The drops. And the riffs. That defined a decade. A channel with non-stop pop anthems from the 2010s. The 10 Spot, Channel 11, and in the SXM app, included with all trials and popular plans.
To hear this channel, activate your radio now. Call 844-711-8800 or head to SiriusXM.com/go to sign up quickly.
Visit SiriusXM.com/go to quickly sign up online and activate your radio. Sometimes there aren't enough hours in the day, and sometimes there are way too many. So why not fill them with SiriusXM? Think about it. You can wake up with Howard Stern in the morning, let commercial-free music get you through the daily grind, and then wrap it up with news, talk, and comedy on the way home. All you've got to do is visit SiriusXM.com/go to sign up online quickly, or call 844-711-8800 now. And if the day doesn't go faster, then at least you know it'll sound much better.
Wall-to-wall comedy clips from Netflix's exclusive and unparalleled library of top comedy specials. Plus, comedians Tom Papa and Fortune Feimster hang out with all their comedian friends on What a Joke.
What a Joke is the name of the show.
Weekdays at 10 a.m. East.
I like the name, yeah. All right, good.
And Are You Still Listening? A monthly Netflix stand-up showcase hosted by Taylor Tomlinson. Tuesdays at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. East. Netflix is a Joke Radio. To hear Netflix is a Joke Radio, activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800. Or go to SiriusXM.com/go to sign up quickly.
You deserve the best. With the SiriusXM Platinum VIP plan, you can unlock the ultimate listening experience in up to 2 cars and stream anywhere with 2 app logins. Enjoy our greatest content, opportunities for live VIP experiences, and prioritized customer care. Plus, get access to over 5,000 audio and video concert recordings through nugs.net. Call 844-711-8800 and become a VIP. Offer details apply. Not available in Canada.
Did you know you can get home and away feeds for every MLB, NFL, and college football game on your phone? I can't believe it! Every game, all season. It's all on the SiriusXM app. Sports the way they're meant to be heard with your hometown announcers just a tap away. Search for your team, then tap the star on the corner of the screen and save it as your favorite. It is gone! An incredible finish! And And if you love college sports, when the game is on, just search for your school. It's always a home game when you listen to sports on the Sirius XM app. Free for most subscribers.
For college and pro football, look no further than Sports Grid Radio on Sirius XM. Their winning team of experts, led by Scott Farrell, are analyzing the lines and odds for every game and updating the latest player props and team win totals.
Their quarterback situation is an absolute mess. With a win total of 9.5, I'm hammering the under.
Become a better with Sports Grid Radio, Sirius XM channel 159, and on the SXM app.
To hear Sports Grid Radio on Sirius XM, activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or visiting SiriusXM.com/go.
Discover música mexicana for a new generation on XYZ. And the Latin side of hip-hop on Flow Nacion. Plus, more Latin music channels across Sirius XM throughout this Hispanic Heritage Month and all year round in the Sirius XM app.
Rumble Deportes, bonjour, vini vini vici, let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe. According to me and people who love the universe, what a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be my neighbor? Shut up! Okay, I'm trying to bring the neighborhood together, and some people just don't appreciate it when it's 3 o'clock in the morning. All friend level words, today's a beautiful September 22nd, 2023. Get the last day of summer, give that some praise. No more 115 degrees like in Las Vegas or Arizona. But California, Northern California, Denver Hills, we're getting rid of the 100-degree weather. It's getting down into the 80s now. It's all friend level word now, so we got my belt bottoms. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, no matter how hot it is, on 28 podcast applications all across the universe. You can find us on Google, Alexa, Spotify, Speaker Podcast, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio Podcast, Castbox Podcast, Deezer Podcast, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Amazon Podcast, Good Pods Podcast. I'm telling you, you can find Big C Sports Podcast on Geo Savan out of London, England, as well as India and Africa. You can also find us on Podtail, YouTube, Popular Stitcher Podcast, Radio Line, Beatpod Podcast, Luminary Podcast, Listen Notes, Podcast Wise, Podbig, Verbal Podcast, Podcast Prodigy, Podcast Republic, and the only one that doesn't scare me, but it used to scare me, but now it doesn't. It's called AllFees.ai. Give that some praise. The robots are trying to take over, but we're going to turn them off. I think it was in Austin, Texas. There it goes again. In Austin, Texas, they were trying autonomous driving vehicles. They said, we don't need people. And they put it to a vote. Can you believe the people voted to not have people in cars? And so they trusted these robotic cars, autonomous driving cars. You know, they were running into each other, causing a traffic jam. Now, how in the world could the robots have such Jedi Knight mind control? They convince people that we don't need each other. Those robots are smart. I'm telling you, you got to turn off those robots and start turning on some praise. Give people some praise. Let them replace people with robots. And the cars were crashing into each other down in Texas. Of course, it was Austin, Texas. I want to say you can also follow Big C Sports Podcast on 4 TV podcasts. Actually, 4 TV streaming applications: Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV, and a lot of smart TVs all over the universe. Give us some praise. The last night for the game in Denver Hills, the 49ers 30, the New York Giants 12. Listen up. I say 800 gambler, but I can't make this stuff up. The point spread was the 49ers by 10. That's what Las Vegas said. What did Big C say? I told you the 49ers would win this game 35-14. Oh, you were wrong, Big C. But listen, Vegas, they had a 10-point spread. Big C told you it was going to be a 21-point spread. So they won by 18. They won 30-12. But McCaffrey had dropped a pass that was going to be a touchdown That would have added 30 more points. So I was saying 35-14. It should have been 34-14. You got to give Big C Sports some praise. How am I beating Las Vegas? I guess I better put some money on the game. But when I called them, they said they don't take quarter slots. They don't take quarter bets, Curry. I said I would have put 25 cents. I said I would have put 25 on the game. I was feeling my best, you know. I was pretty close on the point spread last night. I wanted to put some money on the game. So I called some good boys down in Vegas. And they said, "Where you been, Big C?" I said, "Well, I've been trying to put some money together to put some money on the game." They said, "Okay, well, how much you want to put on the game?" I said, let me start with 25. They said, 25? He said, "Boss, Big C want to put 25,000 on the game." I said, no, hold on. I said 25 cents. He said, "You, sir, are a smart aleck." Give smart aleck some praise. Maybe I should have put some money on the game, 25 cents. They wouldn't take my bet, but you can take my bet if you follow Big C Sports Podcast. I produce the show. I direct the topics. I broadcast all the shows. I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency. We could all use more laughter in our lives. I know I can. And then the commercials are done. Big C Sports Podcast is the only sports show in the universe. I do all my commercials pre-roll. Unless I have a guest on, then I'll do a pause, etc. Big C pause. But then I'm also telling you that I do the stats providing, I do the storytelling, I do the play-by-play up to the line of scrimmage, 1st and 10, 50-yard lines, 5-man front by the Giants, 4 wideouts for the 49ers, 1 man McCaffrey in the backfield of the snap, and rolling to his right, Purdy. He's rolling, he throws downfield. It is dropped by Christian McCaffrey at the goal line. And that's what cost me. That's what cost me on it being exactly right. I said 35-14. Had McCaffrey caught that ball, it was going to be 34-12. You got to get BC's. How do I know that stuff? I can't make it up. I know how to chart games. That's why maybe I should bet more than 25 cents on a game. And then I'm telling you, I upload the show to 28 multiple podcast platforms out of New York City. And some people think, "Oh, he's just guessing." I'm not guessing. Listen to yesterday's show. I was telling you reparations is going to happen. The Georgetown University and the Jesuits have plans to pay out $1 billion in reparations to the University of Georgetown's residents and descendants of child slavery alone. Big C, you just guessing. I'm not guessing. You can Google it. And also, I'm telling you, the show uploaded to 28 podcast platforms out of New York City. I'm in Dimdale Hills, California, and then streaming on 4 TV platforms. And then I never missed a show since creating Big C Sports with the crew back in the days at Salem Media. I want to say I do this every show. I want to give me some praise for that. That's a lot of work. How did I beat Las Vegas again? They said the point spread was 10. Big C said no. The point spread is 20. The point spread is 21. And had McCaffrey caught that ball. Had he caught that ball, 34 minus 12 is 22. I was off by 1 point, but he missed it, and they still won by 18. So I'm still a lot closer than Las Vegas. 800 gambler. But maybe I should bet more than 25 cents. Maybe they'll take a 45-cent bet. I want to say, any veterans going through issues, you can pick up the phone and call the Veterans Crisis Hotline. They are experienced helping veterans and their loved ones get help. 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. All right, you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give us some praise because we all need somebody to lean on. I know I do need somebody to lean on, if that makes sense to you. And what did Teddy Pendergrass say? He said it's so good leaning on somebody when somebody leaning back. That's not what he said, Curry. Okay, what did he say? He said it's so good loving somebody when somebody loves you back. That's what I'm talking about. But next time you want the real Teddy. I was walking this morning and I saw a queen. No, I mean a real queen. It was a cart, but it was a queen. Anybody named Queen? Give that some praise. It's Happy Friday. I'm having a lot of fun. And you take it as you can get it. I saw a queen. If she was laying in the knees. life is so funny. I want to say thank you to... You ever been Land of the Weeps? I want to say thank you to Xfinity Comcast TV and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big Z Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, where God said, reparations now, and Georgetown University said, reparations forever. Where is Georgetown University located, you anti-reparationist? Oh, Big C, there you go with your reparations. Where's Georgetown University located? It's located in Washington, D.C. Where's the White House? Washington, D.C. Where was President Abraham Lincoln when he signed the Emancipation Proclamation? Washington, D.C. That's called a clue. Get that some praise. I'm telling you, Georgetown University and the Jesuits spent over $1 billion to descendants of chattel slavery. Oh, Big C, reparation never going to happen? For the dumb people, please turn off your podcast now. We need more brain power because I've been saying things before they happen. And you got to give me some praise because I look like a fool if it didn't happen, but I'm not a fool, if that makes sense to you. Oh, I'm so happy. Life is something else. I'm telling you, I have so much good mojo working. I tell you, I went to the dentist today, and he said, you know, we can give you a gold grill like Flavor Flav. I said, I don't want a gold grill like Flavor Flav. I just want a big watch like Flavor Flav. I want to thank the Associated Press and Janie Harr. She wrote a story on reparations. Oh, I just had another epiphany. And she called Big C Sports a sports guy about reparations. I will get into some sports too. I know some of you guys don't care about me trying to get you paid. But the Associated Press, she did the article March 29th, 2023. And she also talked about President Joe Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris, and also California Governor Gavin Newsom and the California Reparations Task Force. She said, I said, how'd you get my number? She said, oh, we have our ways. I said, well, how can I help you? She said, I said, but why'd you call me? She said, because I heard you speak. And she said, you're different. You're not like the others. I don't know what the others means, but I can tell you this. I've been the only sports show. I don't care what program you tune into, anything on the mothership. You can tune in to any of them. ABC, Fox, CNN, ESPN, NFL Network, Major League Baseball, NBA basketball, all the TNT. None of those guys have been as accurate as I've been. Now, if I wasn't accurate, I'd be a fool. But I'm telling you, reparations is happening this year, and they've already signed off on $1 billion to descendants of chattel slavery from Georgetown. Give that some praise. I want to get into the sports also, but I know some people want to get paid, and some of you guys don't care about getting paid. You just want to watch the games and have people tell you that they know who's going to win a game. And Big C's been so accurate. It's amazing how some people still have their doubts. I don't doubt the Alpha and the Omega. I want to give that some praise. And I want to just touch on this one more time before I get into things about the game. I have Big C's Friday Night Lights. And you high school kids need to start understanding reparations. You got to get it from Big C Sports. The other guys, they don't even know what's happening right in front of their eyes as they're breathing. As you're breathing, they don't even know what's happening. But I don't shuck and jive when I tell the truth. And I know some of you don't want to handle the truth. And that's okay. But you can't say that you did not hear it. And that's important to me. It's so important because it's called vindication. You ever get vindication? I love having vindication. It's important. And I want to get into, before I get into Big C's NFL and college and even high school picks, $27 million in reparations to be paid to descendants of enslaved people sold to fund Georgetown University. This is Patrick Ewing's university. You know, people want to pay attention to Georgetown when they're playing basketball. Allen Iverson University, the Hoyas. They want to pay attention to it when it comes to that. Big C Sports is a little bit different. Georgetown University and the Jesuits have pledged $27 million in money and land donations to the descendants of 19th century enslaved people who were sold to fund the highly prestigious institution. You got to understand that. That's according to CNN. It's called the Descendants Truth and Reconciliation Foundation. It confirmed the gift of $10 million from Georgetown and $17 million from the Jesuits. Give that some praise. And that's this year. That happened in 2023. This is not something that happened 50 years ago. Hyman Milner wrote the story September 15, 2023. That's just this month. Well, maybe Big C knows what he's talking about because he's been talking about this reparation thing for about 5 years now. So maybe I should listen to what Big C's saying. The donations hope to be a crucial step in rectifying. You ever been rectified? Kind of like getting a proctology exam. It's called rectifying. You ever been rectifying? The injustice enacted upon 272 enslaved men and women. 2-7! 2! Like a football score, right? 272 enslaved men, women, and children sold from Jesuit plantations to settle Georgetown's debts in 1838. Who's been asking the clergy to get involved in reparations? Because people say, come to the church and save your soul. And don't forget to pay your tithe. How are churches around the world and around the United States, how do they dare call people into the church and ask to pay the tithe when they don't even speak about the biggest crime that America's ever had? Now, slavery existed all over the world, but it was a peculiar institution in the United States. You could not work for your freedom. Most states and most countries had what's called manumitted slavery. You could work for your freedom. And what did Big C Sports say? You can't make this stuff up. Even you negative people. I've been saying I'm going to speak out to the clergy to start talking about reparations. Quit asking for money and tithes. Any pastor asking for your tithes, ask them what his thoughts on reparations. Because black people need tithes too. Descendants of chattel slavery. They're asking for your tithes so you can buy your way into heaven. How some pastor or some preacher or some bishop or some pope going to talk about getting you into heaven? And they don't even talk about this biggest sin the United States has ever had. Slavery! Pay your tithes for what? But Big C said this. And now listen who's doing it. The Jesuits. The long-term plan of Georgetown is to pledge over $1 billion to the Descendants Truth and Reconciliation Foundation. You mix that with annuities, that's money for the rest of their lives. And future generations for up to 300 years. According to CNN, the Jesuits made a $100 million commitment to the efforts. Well, President Zelensky got $100 billion, okay? Now, the foundation, it will use the funds to invest in lifelong education of descendants, endowment programs invested in anti-racism advocacy, and provide support to elderly descendants throughout their lives. There also will be money. Show me the money! Because they make money off of slavery. At least the Jesuits are finally acknowledging that. And who said it first? It wasn't some of those other sports shows you listen to. It wasn't even some news shows that you listen to. It was Big C Sports, one beautiful, intelligent black man. And I'm telling you, when reparations passes, it's going to be so monumental, people are going to give it praise, except for the knuckleheads. But give the descendants their money so they can use at their discretion in perpetuity and to be transferred upon death to the surviving descendants, just like other races get. You got to understand this. You got to understand this. You got to understand, it's not really donations. It should be endowment programs. This is reparations. European Holocaust heirs have gotten continuous billions of dollars from the United States. And you can Google that. Descendants of chattel slavery are next. You got to give that some praise. You got to give it praise. You can't be dumb when you follow my show. You just can't. And I know we're getting hoodwinked and we just want to know who won the game. Can you please tell me who won the game, Corey? Please. You can Google who won the game, but Big C Sports is going to help you get some money because it's happening on the federal government level. I'm not shucking and driving. I always give out a quiz. Oh, it makes so much sense now. I've been doing this for a long time. Google Survivors Today Act of 2007. Take out your phone and use it for more than just texting or Facebooking or IGing people because they're not helping you get billions. Big C Sports is. Google Survivors Today Act of 2017. Google it. the Justice for Uncompensated Survivors Today Act of 2017 is United States legislation that requires the State Department to report to Congress on steps that 47 countries in Europe have taken to compensate Holocaust survivors and their heirs for assets seized by Nazi Germany and post-war communist government. You got to give that some praise. Come on, you got to see that Big C Sports is real. I'm not just shucking and jiving. I'm trying to make sure that we get paid because we deserve it, especially the descendants of chattel slavery. And you can't tell me that you learn more by Instagram and Facebook and Twitter than you're learning from Big C Sports Podcast. I want to give some praise before I get into the sports to the California Reparations Task Force, and they're responsible for reparations. But I'm going to ask them also to work with Georgetown University because they've already made pledges of $1 billion. That's just to the university, the Senate alone. California Reparations Task Force member, the chair, Camila Moore, brilliant, give her some praise. Dr. Amos C. Brown, vice chair, brilliant, give him some praise. The best senator in United States of America, California Senator Stephen Bradford, give him some praise. I'll be having meetings with him in October, and hopefully we'll have a reparations by then. Council member Monica Montgomery Steppe, brilliant, give her some praise. I've spoken with all of them. Assembly member Reginald Jones Sawyer, brilliant, give her some praise. Dr. Shell Grills, brilliant, give her some praise. Attorney Lisa Holder, brilliant, give her some praise. Dr. Javon Scott Lewis, professor at California Berkeley, brilliant, give her some praise. And Attorney Donald K. Tamaki, part of the California Reparations Task Force, brilliant, give her some praise. And you know what? Give Big C Sports some praise. Come on, y'all. You can't find us on other programs. Everybody, at some point in time, you got to say, you know what? That brother's been saying this stuff before it even became public. How did Big C know? I told you, I've been studying this stuff with my spirit. And it's true. I also want to give some praise, and he'll be getting a letter from the National Black Wall Street Project coming up by the end of September, or no later than the earlier part of October, to United States Senator Marco Rubio, Republican in Florida, Jackie Rosen, Democrat, Nevada, Kevin Kramer, Republican, North Dakota, and Rick Scott, Republican, Florida, because they reintroduced the Holocaust Insurance Accountability Act. In that legislation would allow beneficiaries of Holocaust-era insurance policies to bring civil action in United States district courts against the insurers for the covered policy to recover proceeds due or otherwise enforce any rights under the policy. And Rubio first introduced the bill with then Senator Bill Nelson, Democrat, Florida, in 2011. What I've been saying is Big C Sports is real, and it's not shucking and jiving, and I've taken a lot of crap from a lot of people that said I talk too much about politics. And now I'm talking to senators in the United States and going to send a letter to the White House also, because Big C Sports, mark my words, I've been telling you reparations now, reparations forever. I'm going to be the first sports show in the universe that will announce reparations, and even talking to the Oval Office. You got to give that some praise for all the people that say, oh, he ain't doing nothing. He nothing but a loudmouth. Maybe that's true too. But you can't say that I haven't been speaking the truth. Even Jerry Jones, he wants minority ownership to go up. Well, all he has to do is just tell the good old boys to open the doors for people of color. But I'm telling you, for you black Americans and the good white people too, because not everybody's decent. And, you know, Fox settled a lawsuit, Fox News, for lying. I think it was nearly $1 billion. And they had an article about reparations just, I think, last month in August. And they were making fun of it. Oh, I don't want my taxpayers going up to pay those black folks. Well, they didn't mind getting all that free 276 million acres of land that the government gave to white people. And even more insulting white Europeans. Oh, why would that be insulting, Curry? Because descendants of chattel slavery built this country for free. And they were told nothing. They told you got nothing. You get zero! And now they love listening to zero. 0, 0, 0, 0. Give that some praise if that makes sense. Because it's coming. I'm telling you, it's coming. And now you might know what, there are going to be more news people that are saying what I've been saying for 5 years. But a lot of guys, they're just afraid. They want to be they want to be last just in case they're wrong. And I think you can speak things that be not as though they were. I don't work in Congress. I don't work in the Senate. But I'm having access to people from the Senate and also Congress. I want to thank CNN for sponsoring this spot on Big C Sports. Caitlin Collins, The Source. Weeknights at 9 o'clock p.m. East Coast time. Also want to thank T-Mobile for running spots on Big C Sports. Give that some praise. Reach out and touch somebody. In the first part of my show, I ran a T-Mobile commercial, a preview with Double O. And it's in the hands of a producer who's a pretty big producer. And hopefully by Christmas time, you'll hear that commercial mixed in or however you do it with national commercials. I said that first two, didn't I? Give that some praise. Oh, Big C, how you going to talk about things and have them come true? I just told you, reparations already being passed by Georgetown University as you want to watch the game. Now have Allen Iverson talk about that. Have Patrick Ewing talk about that. Have Alonzo Mourning talk about that. Because that's more important than them winning the basketball game. You got to get Big C Source some praise. I don't shut them down. I do want to thank my beautiful mother, family, my legacy, because if I talk about reparations, who am I to talk about reparations when I don't even acknowledge where I come from? I know where I come from! On my mother's side, I want to give praise to my beautiful great-grandmother, Mama, beautiful, loving, kind woman, always making sure lots of love in the family and lots of food in the belly. And then my beautiful great-granddaddy called him Pop from a military man and from a Negro League baseball player, known around his church buddies as making the best moonshine in the history of the universe. And saying, boys, get out of that barn now. The real MacGyver can fix anything. Planes, trains, automobiles, lawnmowers, cars, tractors, trucks, car tires. Plumbing broke and he fixed the plumbing. Your refrigerator broke, he fixed that too. Fixed a lot of things. And then my beautiful, they didn't get their reparations. They're ignorant of something their great-grandson is going to announce things that are going to happen for us. And it's already happened. I feel so vindicated. It's like almost taking a big poop when you've been hiking in them there hills and you can't find a restroom anywhere. You say, restroom? He said poop on the air? Yeah, everybody takes a poop. Especially when you're hiking and you can't find a restroom anywhere. You say, what in the world am I going to do? I got to find someplace. In fact, I was up in Yosemite one time and I had to go so bad I could barely hike them there hills. I was telling you, I was thinking like a bear. I said, if I could just find a little cave, a little cavern that where no one could see me, maybe I could relieve myself. And I said, no, I'm not going to be on somebody's vacation watching me do my thing in Yosemite. Because I was raised with good manners. I didn't find a leaf in a hole someplace in Yosemite Falls. What's that coming down Yosemite Falls? Well, it wasn't going to be Big Me. It wasn't going to be Big C's. But I did hold it long enough and I found a restroom. And I felt like when I got to the restroom, it was just in the nick of time. The universe came pouring out of me. And people say, oh, why you talk about that? Everybody does it. But I forecasted I needed to do it, and it happened. Like I forecasted reparations now, reparations forever. Give that some praise. And don't act like you've never taken a poop. It's a healthy thing for you. According to my proctologist, if you're not taking one, then you got to go see the doctor. But I've been making sure I listen to my doctor. That's why I give people some praise. It's amazing. If you don't do it, something's wrong with you, if that makes sense to you. And be that as it may, I want to go back to thanking my family legacy, and that's why I had to go to my room so many times. In church, I say, I got to get up. I got to go to the restroom. You don't have to tell anybody, just go. My beautiful grandmother, I called her a mother, beautiful, loving, kind woman, always making sure lots of love with the family. She was a seer. She could off the top look at a person and tell you about their past, present, and future. And they call them psychics now. She still helps me to this day. And then my beautiful grandfather, my grandfather, Hezekiah, another one of a person, a seer, could oftentimes look at a person, tell you a lot about their past, their present, and their future. And then I can always depend on my mama, the most beautiful mama in the history of the universe. Started a Head Start program, a food program, and then coaching all boys Little League baseball team to the championship of the universe. I love giving my mama praise. Come on, started a Head Start program, a food program, and then coaching all boys the Little League baseball team to the championship of the universe. Give mama praise. Always saying rise and shine. The best person I ever met in my life. Love my mama with all my heart, mind, and body and soul. And also mama believes in reparations. And then on my beautiful father's side, my grandfather, Albert Curry, the former pastor, had 2 churches in Oakland. He built the 3rd church in Central California with his own hands. And then he had 2 gas stations in Oakland that he owned on Bancroft and Foothill. They were Shell gas stations. Also going to be writing letters to Shell and the oil companies telling them that they can also pay them reparations like Georgetown. Great colleague of mine, Brother Liam Shabazz he says, Big C, we got to grab the corporations too. But just like Georgetown's paying reparations, California's going to pay reparations next. There's other states around the country where good people are doing it. Don't let Fox News tell you it's about black and white. Because black and white has no standing in the court. It's descendants of child of slavery. Like our Holocaust brethren. It has to have standing in the court for the court to listen. Black has no standing in court. You got to be descendants of child of slavery. And that's important. But it's happened now with Georgetown. Even if you're the dumbest person on the planet, you can Google Georgetown University. It was developed by the Jesuits. They did it with slave labor. If you were the clergy, how are you going to get into heaven? How are you going to even have a congregation? Talk about getting into heaven, and the biggest sin in the history of this country, you don't even talk about addressing it. To atone for it! What do they say when they take confession? Jesus, I have sinned against you! And they go and talk to the priest. And what's the priest going to do? What's the church going to say when they look at God and say, God, I've sinned against you! You rob God by not paying your tithes and offerings. Well, how do you rob God's people? The original people on the planet they're called black. From the African continent, according to Dr. Leakey Gregory Mendo. How are you going to get to heaven when you rob God, the original people? You got to make reparations in first order. If you're the White House, they're going to start coming around asking for the vote. They're going to start coming around asking for the vote, Democrats and Republicans. You ask them, what's your opinion on the biggest sin in the history of the United States? On slavery. What's your opinion on reparations? You know, like the ones our Holocaust brethren got. And they better have the right answer. Because if not, they're not getting the votes. That's coming. So the decent ones will want to pass reparations. I got this from Double O, a national correspondent for the National Black Wall Street Project. Very smart, erudite, talented woman. She sent me Executive Order 13985. Further advancing racial equity and support for underserved communities through the federal government. That's from the White House. It's President Biden's first order. I know you want to know who watched the game, but I'm trying to get you paid. By the authority vested in me as president, by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered as follows. Section 1 policy. On my first day in office, this was sent to me by Double O. On my first day in office, I signed Executive Order 13985 on January 20, 2021, advancing racial equity and support for underserved communities through the federal government, which charged the federal government with advancing equity for all, including communities that have long been underserved, and addressing systemic racism in our nation's policies and programs. Give him some praise. But you better sign it because everybody knows about it now. And I believe that's why Georgetown, they want to get ahead of the curve in the Jesuits because they know it was wrong. You can't go to have mass and you try to pretend that slavery never existed and only white people benefited from the United States. That's a fact. You tell that to God when you get on your knees asking for forgiveness. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I want to also thank my beautiful, my granddaddy owned 40 acres of land. Really appreciate that. My grandmother, beautiful grandmother, Alberta Curry. I was 8 years old walking through a hallway, and she had worked with my granddaddy with the churches and the gas station. It was 10 o'clock at night. I was tiptoeing too. I was tiptoeing through the hallway. And I felt a hand on my forehead, and she said, "What are you doing, young man? On your way to get some more cookies?" I said, "What are you doing up at 10 o'clock at night? You normally go to bed. You normally go to bed at 8:30. And she said that I said, "Cookies are baby crap to me, Grandma. I'm going to get my reparations." But she still said, "There's something about your voice. I love hearing you speak." Isn't it ironic that her grandson is the only sports show in the universe that's been preaching about reparations, and now it's coming true as we breathe? As we breathe. What did Two Live Crew sing back in the day? Every little breath you take. Isn't that something? And then my beautiful father, former United States Air Force fighter pilot, chief mechanic, always making sure that planes can fly high. So we can all stay safe at night. My beautiful brother, well, love my dad with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Always saying develop your mind to its highest extent. I promise I'll get on some sports in a little bit. But first I wanted to address the people that want to get paid as opposed to one who just want to watch the game. And I would assume that there's more people who want to get paid than who want to sit down and watch a game for 3 hours. I love it all, if that makes sense to you. I love it all. I really do appreciate my brother Todd with that bombastic voice. Sound like thunder and lightning when Todd would speak. Always saying go forward. A voracious reader. Always talk about sports and politics. Love Todd with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful daughter Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. College graduate, 2 degrees with honors, 3.5 years. There's a movie called 1983, I believe. A friend of mine was telling me about it. And I want to see that. It's something that is so important. Daisy is so proud of you. Set up the very first interview for Big C Sports, and now your daddy's going to make sure you become a millionaire. Give that some praise. I know there's been a lot of crap going on because sometimes when people are evil, they want to destroy black families. And you know, sometimes they don't want anyone around them that don't look like them. And you know what I'm talking about. Never let someone do that to you. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Daisy's set up the very first interview and for Big C Sports back at Salem Media. It became the first time in the history of this country that NFL Monday Night Football started broadcasting live on the Wall Street Business Network. It had never happened before. My daughter set up the very first interview and also helped me when college coaches came to the West Coast. Now your daddy is going to help you become a millionaire. And people are going to change. Mark my words. Always talk to an attorney first. The same people that try to divide black families, they're going to be asking you for money. Mark my words. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Isaiah 54:17, no weapon formed against you will prosper. And then my beautiful son, Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. College, senior, smart, erudite, good man. Love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Malcolm helped me save trees. Trees? Yeah, trees. I used to always get newspapers looking up stats for teams and players for the Big C Sports Podcast. One day Malcolm said, Dad, why don't you just Google it? And a light bulb went off. I've been Googling ever since, now on 28 podcast platforms. One day Malcolm said, Dad, you want to see Big C Sports on TV? Oh, I just had another epiphany. I said, sure. He said, pick up the phone. He said, pick up the remote and went at the TV and say, play Big C Sports. You see your show come up. That's before it was even on the air. Just like I've been saying reparations now, reparations forever, before it happened. And now Georgetown's in the midst of doing it. You can't make this stuff up. How can you becoming a millionaire because of your daddy getting you what was owed to our ancestry for generation after generation after generation? And give that some praise. You can be anything you want to be. But as you become a millionaire, there'll be people who try to destroy black families that are going to be trying to ask you for money. Mark my words. You got to get word from a lawyer. You're a grown man now. No weapon formed against you will prosper. Isaiah 54:17. Mark my words, son. A lot of people talk crap about your father, but didn't even have a show. And now your daddy's got to become a billionaire. Give that some praise. You can be anything you want to be. And then Big C, with all that wealth and knowledge over the years, like my great-granddaddy coming out of that barn, always saying, you got to believe, you got to believe, you got to believe. Let's get ready to rumble. I love to say welcome to the show. Anthony nominated Big C Sports Podcast. I have no scripts. That's a parent Curry. I'm going to get into Big C's high school football Friday Night Lights. Oh, thank God. Now, there are people who can't wait to go to the game, but when you're about to become a millionaire as a descendant of chattel slavery, and they got you up there running up and down the football stadium for free, hoping you get a college scholarship where they still don't want to pay you unless you get drafted by a professional sports league, and then you can maybe make some money for 3 to 5 years. Well, Big C Sports trying to get you paid now, and your ancestry, and your future generations. That's why I say you either lead, follow, or get out of the way. I know I got the balls the size of a lion. Lion. Maybe you need to go to the doctor. It's metaphorically speaking. But some people only have the size of the grain of a mustard seed. They're too afraid to say anything. I'm not afraid. And people that say, man, you stupid for talking about politics so much. And now you got Georgetown pledging $1 billion to 272 people and their descendants. You got to give that some praise. What side are you on? You want to get paid? Listen to Big C Sports. You want to keep paying money to go see a game? Listen to the other people. Number 1 in the country, modern day Santa Ana, California. Number 2 is a new number 2 is now Bishop Gorman of Las Vegas, Nevada. Number 3, IMG Academy out of Bradenton, Florida. Number 4, Central High School out of Miami, Florida. Number 5, Chaminade, Madonna, Hollywood, Florida. Number 6, Beaufort, Georgia. Number 7, Duncanville, Texas. Number 8, North Shore, Texas. Number 9, Kahuku out of Hawaii. They upset number 10, St. John Bosco out of Bellflower, California. But that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Give that some praise. Not checking and driving. And now I want to get into some NFL football. The 49ers, I already talked about it earlier. The 30, the New York Giants, 12 in Thursday Night Football. On Prime Network, it doesn't make any sense. It should be on the other major channels. That's my story. But I'm going to run through the preview for Week 3 of NFL football. Big C's thoughts. It's just my story, and I'm sticking with it. I'm telling you, everybody has their own thoughts about the game last night. I thought the Niners got away with a Trent Williams punched the player. He was not ejected. I really like Trent Williams. Maybe he just got caught up in the emotion, but he should have been ejected from the game and fined. Maybe they'll fine him, but he was not ejected. That's not a good look for the NFL. The kids are watching, if that makes sense to you. And then the New York Giants, they were I think they were a 10-point underdog. I said they'd lose by 21. They lost by 18. Who's closer, Big C or Las Vegas? All fair in 11 war. That's my story that I'm sticking with it. I got the Denver Broncos and the Miami Dolphins. Miami's favored by 6.5. I'm going to tell you, there's a matchup to watch. The Broncos right tackle Mike McGlinchey versus the Dolphins edge rusher Jalen Phillips. And McGlinchey is one of the league's biggest free agent winners this offseason. He signed a huge deal with the Broncos, but through 2 games, he's not played like they signed for the money that he's getting, if that makes sense to you. I got a wide receiver to pay attention to, Jalen Waddle. I'm telling you, Waddle might miss Week 3 due to concussion, but if he plays, he's going to be great. If not, you'll see Demarius Mathis. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. The over-under is 48 in this game, and I think with the way Miami scores, that's probably good. Denver hasn't been playing that great. Miami's defense has also improved and should be able to keep the Broncos under 21 points. I look at Miami getting that win. I know they're only favored by 6.5, and in my opinion, the way they play football, I think Miami's going to cover that 6.5. They've been on the road the first 2 games, and they won, and now I don't see them losing this game. All's fair in 11 war. And now I got the Buffalo Bills. They're favored by 6.5 versus the Washington Commanders. The matchup to watch, the wide receiver Jahan Dotson versus the Bills quarterback Tre'Davious White. Dotson has gotten off to a slow start this season. He caught 8 passes for 62 yards and no touchdowns. We'll have another tough week matching up this week. All fair in 11 war. I'm looking at running back Brian Robinson. Has been productive in the first 2 games of the season. Has 195 yards and 3 touchdowns. But the Bills just held all-pro running back Josh Jacobs to -2 yards on 9 carries. But that was the Raiders going across the country. I'm thinking quarterback Josh Allen will have at least 2 touchdown passes in this game. And that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I'm going to go in this game, my opinion, that Buffalo will find a way to beat the Washington Commanders. I think Washington covers the spread because they're a really good team, and that's my story that I'm sticking with it. Indianapolis Colts versus the Baltimore Ravens. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, I'm Superman. That's Lamar Jackson. The Ravens favored by 7.5. The matchup to watch, the Colts left tackle Bernard Ryman and the Ravens edge rusher Odofe Owe. I'm telling you, this is a good team in Baltimore. I'm not saying they're as good as San Francisco or Dallas, but they're a very good team. Running back Justin Hill and Gus Edwards. The Colts are loaded in their front 7 as Shaq Leonard is healthy and playing at a high level, with the Ravens likely missing multiple starters on the offensive line. Look for them to have some success more in the air than on the ground. The over-under is 44.5. And with Anthony Richardson still in concussion protocol, it's a bird. It's a play. No, I'm Superman. I got the Baltimore Ravens winning by 7.5 to cover that spread. Houston, Texas versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. And the Jaguars are favored by 9.5. They're getting Buck Wild in Jacksonville. You got to watch the matchup. Texans right tackle George Font versus the Jaguars edge rushers Travion Walker. At some point, Walker has to have a breakout performance. I'm telling you, across 17 career games, he only has, I think, he hasn't been what he should be, but I think he has a good game coming up in this one. I'm telling you, wide receiver for the Texans, Nico Collins, had a huge game in week 2, and there's no reason that he won't have a big game in week 3. You want to look at Trevor Lawrence for the Texans. I think he'll have at least 2 touchdown passes in this game, and I think they get to cover the spread down in Jacksonville. The Atlanta Falcons versus the Detroit Lions. If this is a real fight, a lion would maul a falcon in a cage. But this is not a cage. It is at Detroit. The Falcons are undefeated, but Detroit got a big letdown against another bird. They don't like birds. I thought lions ate everything, but they seem not to like birds. They let the Seahawks get away. And I think the Falcons go into Detroit and get a win. The Lions are favored by 3.5. The matchup, the Curry, you crazy? Maybe. But the Falcons wide receiver Drake London versus the Lions cornerback Cameron Sutton. London bounced back after week 2 of being shut out in week 1. This should be another strong performance by him. If the Falcons can watch how Seattle threw the ball on the Lions defense, they have a great quarterback and receivers too. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. Breakout tight end Kyle Pitts is a tough to trust Pitts right now. Over his last 13 starts, he's averaging just 32 receiving yards. I think he has a breakout game in this one. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I like the Lions defense, but I think the Falcons can throw over the top because they've been having success in their first 2 games. I think the Falcons go to 3-0. Art the Blank, I want some tickets to Mercedes-Benz Stadium, if that makes sense to you. The New England Patriots, 2.5-point favorites over the New York Jets. Jets. Man, what to watch. Jets right tackle McKay Becton versus Patriots edge rusher Josh Uche. I don't think the Patriots go to 0-3. Becton struggled to make the switch from left tackle to right tackle. So far he has. Now, people say, man, the Patriots are struggling. The Patriots lost to the Eagles, and they lost to the Dolphins, 2 undefeated teams. Well, and last I checked, the Jets are not the Patriots. Historically, they're not the Eagles, and they're not the Dolphins. I think the Jets will struggle. I think Bill Belichick will get this defense to play better defense this time and not turn the ball over so much. That's my opinion. I think wide receiver Garrett Wilson, it's hard to fade Garrett Wilson as he's one of the most talented receivers in the league. I think New England has a bounce back with their defense. All Fran Leavenworth, I think New England gets their first win on the season. Zach Wilson, say hello to the defense of the New England Patriots and take some clam chowder home when you go back to New York. Tennessee Titans at Cleveland. This is for you. The Browns are favored by 3. The Browns right tackle, DeJuan Jones, and Titans edge rusher, Hale Landry III. Jones did a decent job holding up against T.J. Watt in week 2. They'll have another tough assignment in week 3. And I'm telling you, there's something about this Browns team. They've been getting by the skin of their teeth. Pittsburgh got them last week. And now Tennessee has to roll in there. And Cleveland, I think Cleveland has a bounce-back win. I think they'll win it by a field goal. I know it's a close game. The over-under is Cleveland by 3, and I think they'll cover that 3 if that makes sense to you. But they have a tough job in the running game. Nick Chubb obviously left the game last week with an injury. They'll have another highly physical team that should be able to push them around a little bit, but I think Deshaun Watson is going to play better and have a breakout. Who that say they're going to beat them Saints? The New Orleans Saints versus the Green Bay Packers. The Packers are favored by 2 at Lambeau Field in the frozen tundra. The Saints wide receiver Chris Olave and the Packers quarterback Jair Alexander. The biggest question for this game is, will Jair Alexander follow Chris Olave in the slot? Olave is the best player on the field for the Saints, and touchdown Derek Carr. He's doing his thing offensively for the Saints. I think the Saints go marching in to Lambeau Field in the frozen tundra, and they got to carry that defense. They got to carry that defense after a 2-touchdown game in week 1. Dobbs came back down to earth just week 2. He saw just 3 targets, but outproduced by several other Packers players. I'm telling you, this is a game that the Saints can go in and win. The over-under is 43. I got the Saints winning this at Lambeau Field by a field goal because Derek Carr and Love. Derek Carr played at Bakersfield Christian High School in Bakersfield, and Jordan Love played at Liberty High School in Bakersfield. Give Bakersfield some praise. The oil town in the Central Valley, the Los Angeles Chargers at the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings only favored by 1. They're only getting 1 at home in the Dome. I don't understand that one, but A matchup to watch, right tackle Brian O'Neill versus the Chargers' Khalil Mack. Mack is like a Mack truck. The Vikings had a lot of issues on their offensive line through 2 games, but O'Neill has yet to be one of them. He's graded out as a top tackle in the NFL. And then you have Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. They're coming to eat. And they want the Big C burger. It's a tasty burger with all that exotic meat. Wide receiver Jordan Addison out of USC has made a big touchdown reception in each of the past 2 weeks. Imagine doing it again in week 3. I'm telling you, the Vikings are going to get this win because they're at home. And Jefferson's he's a big threat receiver. And I just think it's time for them to show up in the Dome. They're not going to lose. They're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe like they did against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Carolina Panthers at the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks are favored by 6. Matchup to watch, wide receiver DK Metcalf and Panthers quarterback CJ Henderson. Oh, my goodness. Shaq Thompson's out for the season with a bad hitch in his giddy-up. And then with J.C. Horn out of the lineup, Henderson will get even more opportunities as an outside cornerbacker, actually, for the Panthers. I'm looking at Geno Smith at home. Got to target DK Metcalf early. They found their swag against those Lions up in Detroit. If a Seahawk can beat a Lion, it can probably beat a Panther, too. I'm going to go with the good old boys from Seattle. Over on this 42, and I think they'll cover Pete Carroll. This time, he will hand off on the 1-yard line. How about those Cowboys? They're favored by 12 over the Arizona Cardinals. Matchups to watch, Cardinals right tackle Paris Johnson Jr. versus the Cowboys edge rusher Micah Parsons, who will be a Hall of Famer. Oh, Curry, you always want to give him too much praise. He will be a future Hall of Famer. How about that? Johnson looks solid in the first 2 NFL starts, but this one, welcome to the NFL, he'll face Michael Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence. Dallas probably going to get 3 sacks in this game because they're just that dominant. Arizona doesn't like to hold on to wins. They're like a bird. What's a cowboy do when he sees a bird sitting on a perch? They want to take him home for dinner. The Cowboys will eat in this game. The over-under is 43.5. Touchdown, Dak Prescott. He'll help cover. The Chicago Bears versus the Kansas City Chiefs. And the Chiefs are 12.5-point favorites. And they'll get this favorite. They'll cover by 2 touchdowns. The Bears wide receiver Chase Claypool and the Chiefs cornerback Trent McDuffie. I'm telling you, after being called out for perceived lack of effort, I'm telling you, Claypool's played better in week 2. The Bears have not gotten anything. They're having all kind of issues, FBI investigations. Quarterback Justin Fields been laying on his backside trying to throw passes to the wrong team. I don't think it gets better at Kansas City. The over-under is 47.5. Kansas City will cover that. How about those Steelers versus the Las Vegas Raiders? The Raiders 2.5-point favorite at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Man, matchup to watch, Raiders left tackle Colton Miller versus Alex Highsmith. T.J. Watt had a big day in week 2, but Alex Highsmith had the better performance against the Browns. He was a nightmare all day long for Cleveland, and Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't like to throw the ball to his own team. And now you have, I'm telling you, he had a bad game in Buffalo, and now Devontae Adams is not in this week. The Raiders lose this game at home. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Philadelphia Eagles, 4.5-point favorite over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Got to watch for left guard Matt Fuller. And the Eagles, I'm telling you, Jalen Carter. It hasn't taken long for Carter to show that he's already one of the NFL's best defensive players. I like touchdown Jalen Hurts. He knows how to throw the football. Wide receiver A.J. Brown is a man among boys. And I really like this Eagles team. They're favorite for a reason against Tampa. Baker Mayfield. Tampa is going to try to keep it close, but I think the Eagles, they're just a better team even down there at Raymond James Stadium to win this game. And then you got the Los Angeles Rams versus the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals favored by 2? Maybe because it's on the road. I don't understand. Matthew Stafford had a good game against the 49ers, and you got now for Cincinnati, they're all banged up. So why are they getting 2-point favorite? Joe Burrow still limited with a calf injury. He can't push the ball downfield. I don't even know whether they're playing him. The over-under is 43.5. Donald's going to go in and get a couple of sacks in this game. And the Rams will be the bingo, as they did in the Super Bowl just a couple years ago. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Okay, well, Big C, what are your thoughts for college football? Well, my thoughts on college football, there's only one game in Dim Deer Hills that a lot of people are locked onto, and that's prime time. Deion Sanders talking about reparations. Reparations now, reparations forever. Well, we're going to find out. But I got Florida State at Clemson. Florida State favored by 2.5. I think Florida State will win this game. The Seminoles are 13-6 against the spread in their last 19 games and 6-1 overall. That's my story. and I'm taking it to Colorado at Oregon. How about prime time? Well, I don't believe this 20.5-point favorite by Oregon. All Colorado has to do is watch the game where Georgia beat up on Oregon and play that same film over and over and over again. Colorado is 4-1, actually 4-11 against the spread in his last 15 games, but that's a different genre, a different regime. It's 2-1 against the spread in Deion Sanders' first 3 games, while Oregon is 9-3 against the spread in his last 12 outings. It's always tough to win at Austin Stadium up in Oregon, and I'm just going to go out on a limb. I'm going to say Oregon's going to knock off that dust on their sleeves, and I'm saying Colorado's going to beat Oregon at Oregon because they're going to watch that Georgia film over and over and over again. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. I think Shedeur Sanders has a good game against that Oregon Duck defense. There's no Travis Hunter, but I'm telling you, there's something about this Colorado team. Now, if I'm wrong, I'll eat crow or I'll eat a duck. But I'm going with Colorado to knock off Oregon at Austin Stadium. Ole Miss at Alabama. Alabama's favored by 6.5. 6.5! And the Lions shifted by half a point in the Rebels' favor since they opened with a critical gaze on the Tide after a sloppy win over University of Southern Florida. Ole Miss is 12-6 against the spread in its last 18 games. Alabama is 1-4-1 against the spread in its last 6 games against SEC. Alabama's not as good as they've been over the years. I'm telling you, if there's any time to eat an elephant, you want to eat an elephant now. I got Ole Miss edging Alabama by a field goal. Field goal! Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. In the final game, Arkansas at LSU. LSU's favored by 17.5. And Arkansas lost. They lost to BYU. But they're 11-4-1 against the spread this last 16 games. LSU has but just one. Think about that. Won just once in the last 7 tries straight up. You like the point spread, or do you like LSU? I'm going to say LSU's going to win this game. I don't think they cover 17.5, but I think they win this game. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Washington State, they have a game favored by 2.5 against Oregon State. I'm going to go with Oregon State. Actually, Oregon State is favored by 2.5. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, that's Big C's thoughts. You want to give that some praise. Reparations now, reparations forever. Google Executive Order 13985 sent to me by Double O, because we're trying to get you paid. Paid! Yeah, paid, if that makes sense to you. Well, if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink, because mothers against drunk drivers are mad, and fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. You can call Uber, you can call Lyft, you can walk it off, you can sleep it off. But don't drink and drive. Don't let someone you love get behind the wheel of a car drunk. The life you save may be your own or someone you love. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, you know what time it is. Back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He was known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, you sting like a bee, rumble, young man, rumble. He said, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Ali said, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly compete because all these Big C burgers and listening to Big C Sports make me educated, if that makes sense to you. That's why I float like a butterfly. My beautiful mother always says there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. You know anybody going through the crowd, pick up the phone and call 911 because things change when the police show up. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. You know what time it is. As I always tell you, on every Big C Sports Show, I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day. And now we honor President Abraham Lincoln because Georgetown is listening. They're paying out reparations. When he said reparations now, reparations forever. Say it like your team just won the game. Like Georgetown's passing out reparations to the descendants of child slavery. We say reparations now, reparations forever. Let's honor President Abraham Lincoln as just your team just won the championship. When he said what Georgetown University just said, reparations now, reparations forever. I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super fantastic day.